The unexpected visitor. Jake Hawkins stared at his latest failed invention, a device meant to convert household waste into clean energy. The contraption sputtered and died, emitting a foul odor that filled his cramped garage. He sighed, running a grease-stained hand through his unkempt hair. At 28, Jake was running out of time and money to pursue his dreams of becoming a world-changing inventor. The sound of the mailbox flap clang shut drew his attention. Jake trudged to the front door, dreading another pile of overdue bills. As he rifled through the envelopes, a glint of light from the overgrown backyard caught his eye. Curiosity piqued, he set the mail aside and ventured out to investigate. Pushing through waist-high weeds, Jake discovered the source of the reflection, a small metallic object partially buried in the soil. It was roughly the size and shape of a football, but with an iridescent surface that seemed to shift colors as he moved around it. Intrigued, he reached out to touch it. The moment his fingers made contact, the object hummed to life. A holographic display erupted from its surface, projecting alien symbols and diagrams into the air. Jake stumbled backward, his heart racing. He had always believed in the possibility of extraterrestrial life, but to have proof materialize in his own backyard was beyond his wildest dreams. Over the next few hours, Jake carefully excavated the artifact and brought it into his garage. He cleared a space on his workbench, pushing aside half-finished projects and discarded prototypes. As he examined the object more closely, he'd realized that it was far more complex than anything he had ever encountered. The holographic display seemed to respond to his touch, cycling through various screens of information. Though he couldn't understand the alien language, the diagrams were tantalizingly familiar. They appeared to depict advanced energy systems, propulsion methods, and materials far beyond current human technology. Jake's mind raced with possibilities. If he could decipher even a fraction of the information contained within this artifact, it could revolutionize human technology. But he also knew that such a discovery would attract unwanted attention. Government agencies, corporations, and who knows what else might try to seize the artifact if they learned of its existence. For now, he decided to keep his discovery a secret. He needed time to study it, to try and understand its mysteries before revealing it to the world. Jake worked through the night, making crude sketches of the diagrams and attempting to decipher the alien symbols. As dawn broke, Jake realized he had been awake for over 24 hours. Exhausted but exhilarated, he finally allowed himself a moment to consider the implications of his discovery. This wasn't just proof of alien life, it was a repository of advanced knowledge that could change the course of human history. Just as he was about to call it a night, or rather, a day, the artifact began to pulse with an intense light. The holographic display expanded, filling the garage with a three-dimensional star map. A specific point on the map blinked insistently, and a series of coordinates appeared alongside it. Jake's fatigue evaporated as he realized what he was seeing. The artifact wasn't just a passive database, it was an invitation. Someone, or something, wanted him to come to those coordinates. But how? He didn't have a spaceship or any means of interstellar travel. As if in response to his thoughts, the holographic display shifted again. This time, it showed a detailed schematic for what appeared to be a warp drive. The design was elegant in its simplicity, yet far more advanced than anything theorized by Earth's scientists. Jake's hands trembled as he began to sketch out the design. He knew he was in over his head, but he couldn't stop now. This was the opportunity of a lifetime, a chance to not only change the world, but to take humanity to the stars. Over the next few weeks, Jake threw himself into the project with a fervor he had never known before. He sold everything he owned of value, borrowed money from friends, and even took out a second mortgage on his modest home. Every resource he could muster went into acquiring the materials and equipment needed to build the warp drive. His garage transformed into a makeshift laboratory and workshop. The artifact served as both blueprint and inspiration, guiding him through the construction process. There were setbacks and failures, moments of doubt and despair, but Jake persevered. The The promise of what lay beyond Earth's atmosphere drove him forward. As news of strange lights and unexplained energy signatures emanating from Jake's property began to circulate, he knew his time was running out. Government agents started asking questions in town, and unfamiliar vehicles lingered on his street. Jake worked around the clock, racing against time to complete the warp drive before his discovery could be taken from him. Finally, after months of relentless work, the device was ready. Jake had retrofitted an old van with a warp drive, creating a makeshift spaceship that looked more like a mobile home than an interstellar vessel. It wasn't pretty, but according to his calculations, it would work. On the night of the launch, Jake loaded the alien artifact and a few essential supplies into the van. As he prepared to activate the warp drive, he hesitated. Was he really ready to leave everything behind? To venture into the unknown depths of space based on an alien invitation? The sound of approaching vehicles made the decision for him. Jake activated the warp drive, and the world around him dissolved into a blur of light and color. His makeshift spaceship shuddered and groaned, but held together as it tore through the fabric of space-time. When the turbulence subsided, Jake found himself floating in orbit around an alien world. The planet below was a swirling mass of purple and green, unlike anything he had ever seen. Before he could fully process his surroundings, a massive ship appeared beside him, dwarfing his modified van. A beam of light engulfed Jake's vehicle, pulling it into a cavernous docking bay. As the van settled onto the alien deck, Jake took a deep breath and opened the door. He stepped out, his heart pounding, ready to face whatever awaited him in this new frontier. A group of beings approached, tall, slender creatures with iridescent skin and large, multifaceted eyes. One of them stepped forward, extending a hand-like appendage in what appeared to be a gesture of greeting. "Welcome, Jake Hawkins of Earth," the alien said in perfect English, its voice resonating in Jake's mind rather than through the air. "We have been expecting you. Your journey here proves that humanity is ready to join the Galactic Confederation. We have much to discuss." Jake stood there, awestruck and overwhelmed. In that moment, he realized that his life, and the fate of humanity, would never be the same again. The adventure he had dreamed of his entire life was only just beginning. First contact. Jake's mind reeled as he tried to process the alien's words. The Galactic Confederation, humanity joining an interstellar community. It was almost too much to comprehend. Yet here he was, standing in the docking bay of an alien spacecraft, face to face with beings from another world. The alien who had greeted him gestured towards a corridor leading deeper into the ship. "Please follow me. We have much to discuss, and time is of the essence." As they walked, Jake couldn't help but marvel at the advanced technologies surrounding him. The corridors seemed to shift and reconfigure themselves as they passed, and holographic displays flickered to life, showing incomprehensible data streams. I have so many questions," Jake stammered, struggling to keep pace with the long-legged alien. "Who are you? Why did you choose me? What's this Galactic Confederation?" The alien's multifaceted eyes seemed to shimmer with amusement. "I am Zaxxlian, ambassador of the Confederation. As for why we chose you, Jake Hawkins, it was not a random selection. We have been monitoring Earth for centuries, waiting for the right moment and the right individual to make contact." They entered a large, circular chamber. The walls were transparent, offering a breathtaking view of the alien planet below and the star-studded expanse of space beyond. In the center of the room stood a group of diverse alien beings, each as strange and wondrous as Zaxxlian. The Galactic Confederation, Zaxxlian continued, is an alliance of spacefaring civilizations dedicated to the advancement of knowledge, technology, and peaceful coexistence. Earth has reached a crucial juncture in its development. Your species stands on the brink of either greatness or self-destruction. We are here to offer a choice. One of the other aliens stepped forward. This one resembled a sentient crystal formation, refracting light in mesmerizing patterns as it moved. When it spoke, its voice chimed like bells in Jake's mind. "Your invention, Jake Hawkins, the device you're working on before discovering our artifact, it holds the key to solving your world's energy crisis. With some refinement, it could provide clean, limitless power to your entire planet. Jake's eyes widened in disbelief. But it didn't work. I failed. You were closer than you realized, the crystalline being replied. Sometimes the greatest breakthroughs come from the brink of failure. Your perseverance, your ability to see possibilities where others see only obstacles, these are the qualities that drew our attention. Another alien, this one a amorphous cloud of swirling gases, floated forward. Its voice was like a whisper on the wind. We have watched your species struggle, fight, and nearly destroy yourselves countless times. But we have also seen your potential for greatness. Your art, your music, your capacity for love and sacrifice. These are rare and precious things in the universe. Jake felt overwhelmed by the weight of their words. Why now? Why make contact at this moment? Zaxalian's expression grew somber. Because your world stands at a crossroads. The decisions made in the next few years will determine the fate of your species. Climate change, resource depletion, political instability. These challenges threaten to tear your civilization apart, but they also present an opportunity for unprecedented unity and progress. The crystalline being chimed in again. We are not here to solve your problems for you, Jake. That is not our way. Instead, we offer knowledge, the tools you need to save yourselves. But this knowledge comes with a price and a choice. Jake swallowed hard, his throat suddenly dry. What kind of choice? Zaxalian gestured, and a holographic image of Earth appeared in the center of the room. We invite humanity to join the Galactic Confederation, to take your place among the stars, to learn and grow alongside other sentient species. But this is not a decision to be made lightly. The gaseous alien swirled anxiously. Joining the Confederation means adhering to our laws, our principles. It means sharing your unique insights and innovations with other member species. It also means accepting that you are not alone in the universe, a revelation that could shake the very foundations of your societies. The alternative, Zaxalian continued, is isolation. We would withdraw, remove all traces of our presence, and leave humanity to forge its own path. You would retain your independence, but you would face the challenges ahead alone, without the benefits of our combined knowledge. Jake's mind raced. The implications were staggering. Either choice would irreversibly change the course of human history. Why? Why are you leaving this decision to me? I'm nobody, just a failed inventor from a small town. How can I possibly make this choice for all of humanity? The aliens exchanged glances, communicating in some unspoken way. Finally, Zaxalian turned back to Jake. Because, Jake Hawkins, you represent the best of what humanity can be. Your curiosity, your determination, your willingness to take risks in pursuit of a better future. These are the qualities that will determine whether your species thrives or falters in the coming years. The crystalline being added, we do not expect you to make this decision alone or immediately. We offer you a chance to learn, to see what the Confederation truly is. Then you will return to Earth as our ambassador. You will share what you have learned, and your people will decide their own fate. Jake took a deep breath, trying to steady himself. This was far beyond anything he had ever imagined. The fate of humanity resting on his shoulders, it was terrifying, exhilarating, and humbling all at once. How long do I have? He asked. Time flows differently for us, Zaxalian replied. What will seem like months or even years to you will pass as mere days on Earth. You will have the opportunity to visit multiple worlds, to learn from diverse civilizations, to see the wonders and challenges of life among the stars. Jake nodded slowly, his resolve building. All right, I accept. I'll learn everything I can, and then I'll return to Earth to share the truth. Whatever humanity decides, at least it will be an informed decision. The alien seemed pleased by his response. The gaseous being swirled excitedly, its voice filled with anticipation. Then let your education begin, Jake Hawkins of Earth. Prepare yourself for wonders beyond your wildest imagination. As if on cue, the transparent walls of the chamber darkened, transforming into a seamless display. Stars streaked by as the alien ship accelerated to impossible speeds. Jake watched in awe as entire galaxies whizzed past, the vastness of the universe unfolding before him. His journey into the unknown had only just begun. In the months to come, Jake would witness technological marvels that defied comprehension, encounter alien cultures that challenged everything he thought he knew about life and intelligence, and face challenges that would test the very limits of human adaptability. Through it all, one question burned in the back of his mind. When the time came to return to Earth, what would he tell his fellow humans? And how would they respond to the greatest choice humanity had ever faced? As the ship hurtled through the cosmos, Jake steeled himself for the adventure ahead. Whatever happened, he was determined to make the most of this unprecedented opportunity. The fate of humanity might rest on his shoulders, but he was no longer alone. With the wisdom of the stars to guide him, Jake Hawkins set out to prove that humanity deserved its place among the cosmic community. The Galactic Challenge. Months had passed since Jake Hawkins left Earth, though he knew only days had elapsed back home. In that time, he had visited a dozen alien worlds, each more extraordinary than the last. He had walked through cities suspended in the atmospheres of gas giants, explored underwater civilizations on ice-covered moons, and marveled at the insect-like hive minds that had colonized entire asteroid belts. But now, as the alien ship approached a massive space station that served as the headquarters of the Galactic Confederation, Jake sensed that his real challenge was about to begin. Zaxxillian appeared beside him, the alien's iridescent skin shimmering with excitement. "We have arrived at the Nexus, Jake. Here, representatives from all Confederation member species gather to share knowledge, settle disputes, and face collective challenges." As they disembarked, Jake was struck by the sheer diversity of life forms bustling through the station's corridors. Beings of all shapes, sizes, and compositions moved with purpose, their translator devices allowing for seamless communication across species barriers. "So, what happens now?" Jake asked, trying not to gawk at a group of floating, bioluminescent entities drifting past. Zaxxillian's multifaceted eyes glinted. "Now, Jake Hawkins, you will witness the true purpose of your journey. The Confederation faces a crisis, one that threatens the stability of our entire alliance, and we believe that humanity might hold the key to solving it." They entered a vast chamber, reminiscent of a United Nations Assembly Hall, but on a far grander scale. Thousands of alien delegates filled the tiered seating, their attention focused on a central platform where a holographic display flickered to life. A booming voice echoed through the chamber, emanating from a being that appeared to be composed entirely of pulsating energy. "Delegates of the Confederation, we face an unprecedented threat. The Void Scourge advances, consuming entire star systems in its wake. Our greatest minds have failed to find a solution. If we cannot stop its spread, countless civilizations will perish." The hologram shifted, showing a roiling mass of darkness creeping across a star map, leaving empty space in its wake. Jake felt a chill run down his spine as he watched entire galaxies blink out of existence. Zaxxillian leaned close, whispering, "The Void Scourge is a cosmic anomaly, a cancerous growth in the fabric of spacetime itself. It defies our understanding of physics and resists all attempts at containment or destruction." The energy being continued, "In our desperation, we have decided to take an unprecedented step. We will open the Galactic Challenge to all species, including those not yet part of the Confederation. Any civilization that can provide a viable solution to the Void Scourge will be granted full membership and the highest honors we can bestow." A murmur rippled through the assembled delegates. Jake could sense the mix of hope and skepticism in the air. He turned to Zaxxillian, confusion evident on his face. "But why would you think humans could solve this? We're centuries behind most of the species here." Zaxxillian's reply was interrupted by another voice, this one harsh and grating. A reptilian being had taken the floor, its scales glinting menacingly under the chamber's lights. "This is absurd," the creature hissed. Humanity is a primitive, warmongering species barely out of its cradle. How could they possibly contribute to a problem that has stumped our greatest minds? Jake felt his face flush with anger and embarrassment. But before he could respond, Zaxian stepped forward, addressing the assembly. Esteemed delegates, I remind you that every species here was once considered primitive by those who came before. Humanity's unique perspective, their ability to think outside established paradigms, could be exactly what we need in this crisis. The energy being pulsed in what Jake interpreted as agreement. Indeed, it is often the fresh eyes of a newcomer that see solutions where veterans see only obstacles. Jake Hawkins of Earth, will you accept this challenge on behalf of your species? All eyes in the chamber turned to Jake. He felt the weight of countless alien gazes upon him, expectant and skeptical in equal measure. For a moment, he was that failed inventor again, staring at his broken machines in a cluttered garage. But then he remembered the journey that had brought him here, the wonders he had seen, and the potential that lay dormant within humanity. Taking a deep breath, Jake stepped forward. I accept the challenge, he said, his voice steadier than he felt. But I can't do it alone. I'll need to return to Earth to assemble a team of our brightest minds, and I'll need access to all the data you have on the Void Scourge. The energy being pulsed brightly. Granted, you will have full access to our archives and resources, but be warned, Jake Hawkins, time is not on our side. You have 1 Earth year to develop a solution. If you fail, the Void Scourge may grow beyond our ability to contain it. As the assembly adjourned, Jake felt a mix of exhilaration and terror. He had just committed humanity to a challenge of cosmic proportions, with the fate of entire civilizations hanging in the balance. Zaxian approached, a data crystal in his hand. This contains all we know about the Void Scourge. Choose your team wisely, Jake. The future of not just Earth, but countless worlds, now rests in humanity's hands. Jake nodded, his mind already racing with possibilities. He would need scientists, engineers, philosophers, and dreamers. He needed the best and brightest Earth had to offer, people willing to think beyond the boundaries of conventional wisdom. As he prepared for the journey back to Earth, Jake couldn't help but smile. Just months ago, he had been a struggling inventor in a small town. Now, he was about to recruit a team to save the galaxy. It was terrifying, exhilarating, and exactly the kind of challenge he had always dreamed of. The fate of the cosmos hung in the balance, and humanity was about to take center stage. Win or lose, Earth would never be the same again. And Jake Hawkins, the unlikeliest of cosmic ambassadors, was determined to prove that humanity deserved its place among the stars. As the alien ship prepared for the return journey to Earth, Jake clutched the data crystal tightly. He had 1 year to assemble a team, decipher alien science beyond human understanding, and find a solution to a problem that had stumped the greatest minds in the galaxy. It was the ultimate test of human ingenuity and determination, and despite the odds, Jake felt a surge of confidence. After all, if there was one thing humans excelled at, it was achieving the impossible when their backs were against the wall. The adventure was just beginning, and Jake Hawkins was ready to show the galaxy what humanity was truly capable of. Preparation and innovation. Jake's return to Earth was far from the quiet affair he had hoped for. The moment his alien-enhanced van materialized in the skies above his hometown, it set off every early warning system on the planet. Within hours, he found himself surrounded by a mix of military personnel, government agents, and wide-eyed scientists, all demanding answers. It took days of debriefing and explanation before Jake was finally able to convey the magnitude of the situation to Earth's leaders. The revelation of alien life and the impending cosmic threat sent shockwaves through human society. Panic and excitement warred for dominance in the public consciousness as news of the Galactic Confederation and the Void Scourge spread across the globe. But Jake had no time for the ensuing media frenzy. With the clock ticking, he set about assembling his team. He needed the best and brightest minds humanity had to offer, individuals who could think beyond conventional boundaries and push the limits of human understanding. His first recruit was Dr. Amelia Chen, a brilliant quantum physicist whose theories on multidimensional space had been dismissed as too radical by her peers. When Jake showed her the alien data crystal, her eyes lit up with a fervor that matched his own. This changes everything," she breathed, poring over the holographic displays. "The Void Scourge isn't just consuming matter and energy. It's unraveling the very fabric of space-time itself." Next came Raj Patel, a prodigy in artificial intelligence and data analysis. His unconventional algorithms had revolutionized pattern recognition, and Jake hoped those skills would help decipher the vast amounts of alien data they now possessed. The team grew rapidly. Sophia Mbeki, an expert in theoretical biology whose work on extremophile organisms might provide insights into the nature of the Void Scourge. Yuki Tanaka, a materials scientist pushing the boundaries of nanoscale engineering, and Zara Alford, a philosopher and ethicist whose job it would be to consider the moral implications of whatever solution they developed. As the team came together, the United Nations hastily established the Galactic Response Initiative, GRI, a global effort to support Jake's mission. Resources poured in from every nation, old rivalries set aside in the face of this unprecedented challenge. The GRI headquarters, a sprawling complex of laboratories and think tanks, became a hive of activity. Jake's team worked around the clock, pushing the limits of human science and merging it with the advanced knowledge provided by the Confederation. Months passed in a blur of breakthroughs and setbacks. Dr. Chen's work on quantum entanglement led to a deeper understanding of the Void Scourge's structure, but each answer only seemed to raise more questions. Raid's AI models predicted the Scourge's spread with terrifying accuracy, spurring the team to work even harder. As the halfway point of their year-long deadline approached, frustration began to mount. Despite their best efforts, a solution remained elusive. The team had made incredible advances in various fields of science, but the Void Scourge continued to defy their understanding. One evening, as Jake stared at the holographic model of the spreading void, he felt a hand on his shoulder. It was Zara, the philosopher. "You know," she said softly, "we've been so focused on the science that we might be missing something fundamental. What if the key isn't in the data, but in how we approach the problem itself?" Jake looked at her quizzically. "What do you mean?" Zara's eyes gleamed with inspiration. "Think about it. The Confederation has been approaching this as a problem to be solved, a force to be stopped or contained. But what if we're looking at it all wrong? What if the Void Scourge isn't an enemy to be defeated, but a natural process we don't yet understand?" Her words triggered something in Jake's mind, a memory from his journey through the cosmos. He recalled a bioluminescent species that thrived in the darkest depths of a gas giant, turning what should have been a hostile environment into a thriving ecosystem. "You're right," Jake breathed, excitement building in his voice. "We've been trying to stop the unstoppable. What if instead we try to understand it, to work with it rather than against it?" The next day, Jake called a meeting of the entire team. He shared Zara's insight and his own epiphany, challenging them to shift their perspective. The response was electric. Ideas that had been discarded as too outlandish were revisited with fresh eyes. Sophia's work on extremophiles took on new significance as they considered organisms that might thrive within the Void Scourge. Yuki's nanomaterials were reimagined as potential interfaces between normal space and the void. Amelia and Raj collaborated on a new model that treated the Scourge not as a destructive force, but as a transitional state of matter and energy. As the new approach took shape, Jake couldn't help but reflect on the journey that had brought him here. From a failed inventor tinkering in his garage to the leader of a team working to save the galaxy, it was a transformation he could scarcely believe. But there was no time for self-reflection. With renewed vigor, the team pushed forward, their innovative ideas slowly coalescing into a daring plan. They weren't just going to stop the Void Scourge. They were going to harness it, to transform a cosmic threat into a new frontier of exploration and discovery. As the deadline loomed ever closer, Jake knew they were onto something revolutionary. But would it be enough? And even if they succeeded, how would the Galactic Confederation react to a solution so radically different from what they expected? The fate of countless civilizations hung in the balance, and humanity's moment of truth was fast approaching. Jake Hawkins and his team were about to show the galaxy the true power of human ingenuity and out-of-the-box thinking. The greatest challenge in cosmic history was about to meet its match in the unconventional wisdom of a species the Confederation had once dismissed as primitive. The final phase of their audacious plan was about to begin, and the universe would never be the same again. The ultimate test, the day of reckoning, had arrived. 1 year after accepting the galactic challenge, Jake Hawkins and his team stood before the assembled delegates of the Galactic Confederation. The massive chamber buzzed with anticipation and skepticism in equal measure. Earth's representatives, a mixture of scientists, diplomats, and military personnel, watched nervously from a separate section, acutely aware that humanity's future among the stars hung in the balance. Zaxian, Jake's alien mentor, gave him an encouraging nod as he stepped up to the central platform. The familiar holographic display flickered to life, showing the ever-expanding void scourge creeping across the galaxy. Esteemed delegates of the Confederation, Jake began, his voice steady despite the butterflies in his stomach. 1 year ago, you presented us with an impossible challenge. Today, we offer not just a solution, but a paradigm shift in how we view the cosmos itself. Murmurs rippled through the audience. Jake could sense the mixture of curiosity and doubt. He pressed on, determined to make them understand. For months, we approached the Void Scourge as an enemy to be defeated, a threat to be contained. But in doing so, we were blinding ourselves to its true nature and potential. The holographic display shifted, zooming in on the edge of the Void Scourge. Jake's team had painstakingly mapped its structure at the quantum level, revealing patterns of mind-boggling complexity. The Void Scourge isn't destroying reality, Jake explained. It's transforming it. What we perceive as destruction is actually a fundamental shift in the fabric of space-time itself. It's not a cancer in the cosmos. It's the birth of something entirely new. Gasps and exclamations echoed through the chamber. Jake could see the energy being that had first presented the challenge pulsating rapidly, its glow intensifying. Dr. Amelia Chen stepped forward, taking over the explanation. Our solution isn't to stop the Void Scourge, but to guide and shape its growth. We've developed a network of quantum-entangled particles that can interface with the Scourge's leading edge. The hologram changed again, showing a web of glowing particles spreading out ahead of the Void Scourge's advance. Raj Patel continued, using advanced AI algorithms, we can predict and influence the Scourge's expansion. Instead of consuming inhabited systems, we can guide it towards empty regions of space, creating corridors of normal spacetime within its structure. Sophie Mbeki stepped up, her eyes shining with excitement. But that's just the beginning. We've also engineered extremophile organisms capable of surviving within the transformed space of the Void Scourge. These creatures could serve as biological probes, allowing us to study and potentially colonize its new frontier. The chamber erupted in a cacophony of voices. Some delegates shouted objections, while others clamored for more information. The energy being at the center pulsed brightly, calling for order. This is preposterous, the reptilian delegate from before hissed. You propose not to stop this threat, but to allow it to continue consuming our galaxy. Jake held up his hands, calling for calm. We understand your concerns, but consider the possibilities. The Void Scourge represents a new state of existence, one that could open up untold avenues of scientific and philosophical exploration. Instead of fearing it, we can learn from it, grow with it, and expand our understanding of the universe in ways we never thought possible. Zara Alfold, the philosopher of the team, addressed the ethical concerns. We're not suggesting we simply let the Void Scourge run rampant. Our method allows for controlled expansion, protecting inhabited worlds while transforming uninhabited space. It's a balanced approach that respects existing life while embracing cosmic evolution. As the implications of the human proposals sank in, the mood in the chamber began to shift. Excitement replaced fear as delegates began to consider the possibilities this new approach presented. The energy being spoke, its voice resonating through the chamber. This is indeed a paradigm shift, unlike anything we anticipated. But how can we be certain it will work? The risks are enormous. Jake nodded, understanding the concern. We've run countless simulations, but you're right, we can't be entirely certain until we try. That's why we propose a controlled test in an uninhabited system on the edge of the void scourge's advance. He turned to his team, receiving nods of confirmation. We're prepared to oversee this test personally. If it fails, we'll have time to evacuate and implement more conventional containment methods. But if it succeeds, we'll have transformed an existential threat into the greatest opportunity for growth and discovery in the history of the Confederation. A tense silence fell over the chamber as the delegates considered the proposal. Jake and his team stood firm, their faces a mixture of determination and hope. They had poured everything into this solution, pushing the boundaries of human science and imagination. Now, it all came down to this moment. The energy being pulsed slowly, its glow shifting through a spectrum of colors. Finally, it spoke. In all our ends of existence, we have never encountered a solution so audacious, so fundamentally revolutionary. It is a testament to the unique perspective humanity brings to our cosmic community. The being paused, and Jake felt his heart racing. We accept your proposal. You will have the resources of the Confederation at your disposal for this test. But know this, the risks are immense. If you fail, the consequences will be dire not just for your species, but for all life in the galaxy. Jake nodded sullenly, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. We understand, and we're ready to face whatever comes. As the chamber erupted in a mixture of excited chatter and concerned debate, Jake turned to his team. Their faces showed a mixture of elation and trepidation, mirroring his own emotions. "Well," he said with a nervous smile, "I guess we'd better get to work. We've got a galaxy to save, and a universe to explore." As they left the chamber, preparing for the greatest test humanity had ever faced, Jake couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. They had come so far, from a backyard discovery to the cusp of reshaping cosmic destiny. Whatever happened next, Earth had proven its worth among the stars. The ultimate test awaited, and humanity was ready to show the galaxy what it was truly capable of. Triumph of human ingenuity. The uninhabited star system designated as the testing ground for humanity's audacious plan hung at the edge of the void scourge's advance. A fleet of Confederation ships maintained a safe distance, their sensors trained on the impending cosmic drama. At the heart of this assemblage, a modified Earth vessel housed Jake Hawkins and his team, their revolutionary equipment humming with potential. "All systems a go," Raj announced, his fingers dancing across holographic interfaces. "The quantum entanglement network is online and stable." Amelia nodded, her eyes fixed on the swirling data streams before her. Void Scourge approaching nominal interaction range in T-60 seconds. Jake took a deep breath, feeling the weight of countless alien gazes upon them. This was it, the moment that would determine not just humanity's fate, but potentially the future of the entire galaxy. "Commence final countdown," he ordered, his voice steady despite the thundering of his heart. As the team called out the descending numbers, Jake's mind flashed back to where it all began, a curious glint in his overgrown backyard that had led him on this incredible journey. Now, he stood at the precipice of either humanity's greatest triumph or its most catastrophic failure. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Initiate. A brilliant pulse of energy erupted from their ship, a web of quantum-entangled particles spreading out to meet the advancing edge of the void scourge. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, with a flash that defied description, the two forces met. The view screens erupted in a cacophony of data as the void scourge's expansion pattern began to shift. Slowly at first, then with increasing speed, it started to curve away from the inhabited sectors of space, following the path laid out by the human-designed quantum web. "It's working," Sophia exclaimed, her eyes wide with wonder. "The scourge is responding to our guidance." But their elation was short-lived. Alarms blared as unexpected fluctuations rippled through the quantum network. "The scourge is adapting faster than we anticipated," Amelia reported, her fingers flying over the controls. "It's pushing against our influence." Jake gritted his teeth. They had prepared for this possibility, but the reality of it was far more intense than any simulation. "Reg, implement Protocol Omega. Yuki, stand by with the nanotech injectors." As his team scrambled to adjust, Jake opened a channel to the observing Confederation fleet. "We're encountering some resistance, but we're adapting. Stand by." The next few hours were a blur of frantic adjustments, bursts of inspiration, and heart-stopping moments when it seemed like all might be lost. The team worked in perfect sync, their months of preparation paying off as they tackled each new challenge. Yuki's nanomaterials proved crucial, forming an adaptive interface between normal space and the transformed reality of the Void Scourge. Sophia's engineered extremophiles were deployed, sending back mind-bending data from within the Scourge itself. As the test entered its final phase, a hush fell over the ship. The Void Scourge had been successfully redirected, leaving a protected corridor of normal space in its wake. But the true test was yet to come. Initiating final sequence, Jake announced, his finger hovering over the activation switch. "May the stars be with us." With a final, decisive motion, he activated the last stage of their plan. A pulse of energy unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen erupted from their ship, enveloping the edge of the Void Scourge. For a moment, it seemed as if the very fabric of reality held its breath. Then, with a silent explosion of light and color, a window opened within the Scourge itself, a stable gateway between normal space and the transformed reality beyond. Cheers erupted on the bridge as data poured in, confirming what their eyes could scarcely believe. They had done it. The Void Scourge was no longer an existential threat, but a new frontier waiting to be explored. As the realization of their success sank in, messages flooded in from the observing Confederation ships. Congratulations, expressions of awe, and requests for more information came pouring in from every corner of the galaxy. Zaxxilion's face appeared on the main view screen, his multifaceted eyes shimmering with what Jake now recognized as tears of joy. "Jake Hawkins, you and your team have achieved the impossible. You haven't just saved countless lives, you've opened up an entirely new chapter in the history of the cosmos." The energy being that had first presented the challenge pulsed into view. "Never in our long history have we witnessed such a revolutionary solution. Humanity has more than earned its place among the stars. The age of isolation is over. Earth is hereby granted full membership in the Galactic Confederation, with all the rights and responsibilities that entails." As the implications of this announcement sank in, Jake turned to his team. Their faces shone with a mixture of exhaustion, pride, and wonder. They had done it, not just solved the challenge, but fundamentally changed the course of galactic history. In the days that followed, as news of their success spread across Earth and the stars, Jake found himself reflecting on the incredible journey that had led to this moment. From a failed inventor to the leader of humanity's first great galactic endeavor, it was a transformation he could scarcely believe. But as he stood on the observation deck of the Confederation's Grand Station, watching ships from 100 worlds come and go, he knew that this was just the beginning. Humanity had proven its worth, bringing its unique blend of creativity, determination, and out-of-the-box thinking to the cosmic stage. The Void Scourge, once a threat, now represented the greatest adventure in the history of sentient life. Exploration teams were already being assembled, ready to venture into this new realm of transformed space. And at the heart of it all stood humanity, no longer alone in the universe, but an integral part of a grand interstellar community. As Jake gazed out at the star-studded expanse, a smile played on his lips. The universe was vast and full of wonders, and humanity was ready to play its part in unraveling its mysteries. Whatever challenges lay ahead, he knew that the indomitable spirit of his species would rise to meet them. The adventure, it seemed, was just beginning.